Hi everyone. There's something a lot of you don't know about me, but it's really important to share so we can spread awareness and hopefully find a cure. In 2019, I was officially diagnosed with interstitial cystitis. Um, it was a long road to get to that diagnosis. When I was a little girl, I think I can remember as early as 4 or 5 years old, I would tell my mom that my pee-pee was spicy and was constantly getting diagnosed with UTIs as a small child. They brought me to a pediatric urologist who did an ultrasound of my kidneys and then went ahead and told my mother that I was doing it for attention. He called it busy little girl syndrome. And I basically was choosing not to pee enough into giving myself pain so I wouldn't miss anything. So, being the 90s and trusting doctors, my mother accepted this answer. And I thought from the doctor's own mouth that my pain, as he said it, was normal. I went on believing that this pain was normal for another 20 plus years. In 2018, I was struck by a bicycle while crossing the street and had a host of other injuries. And in those injuries and the aftermath, I started noticing more acute, what I thought was UTIs. And then AZO came out with the at-home UTI test kits. And I kept taking them, and kit after kit kept coming up negative. But I had a severe presentation of symptoms, including period cramps, or what I thought were period cramps, all month long. Chronic pain every day. My sister was staying at my home one night, and we have this great relationship with little to no boundaries, and walked in on me while I was in the bathroom. And she saw me making a wince face and was like, "Oh, God, just tell me. I'd leave the room if you were going to poop." And I was like, "I'm not pooping. It's that first, morning pee of the day. It just, hurts a little more than the other ones." And she's like, "What?" The first pee you make every morning, it, hurts a lot, and then it hurts less throughout the day. And she goes, "No, I don't know about that." And I'm like, "It's normal. Everyone gets it." She was like, "No, they don't." So that was my first clue. I then went to the gynecologist, and they did an internal ultrasound. Everything with my lady parts was fine, except he was extremely concerned because my bladder was extremely distended and swollen, as if it was inflamed. So he then recommended I find a urogynecologist. So I went to a urogynecologist here in Manhattan, and they did what is called a cystoscopy, where they use a catheter to reverse fill your bladder and poke a teeny tiny little camera in there to go and scope what's going on. A normal bladder tissue during a cystoscopy is supposed to be clearish with maybe a little tint of white. Think like a really light milk glass. When they poked the camera inside my bladder, it was actually pink with spider webs, bright red spider webs all throughout the bladder. This is intense inflammation of the bladder walls. And the nurse looked at me after hearing the doctor say, "This is interstitial cystitis." And she had tears in her eyes and said, "You poor thing." So it's a chronic pain disease caused by a protein that my bladder does not produce in its lining. And that specific protein is what protects it from acid. And so I had to go on a very similar to like the FODMAP diet and exclude all acid for 4 months to let my bladder heal. And then we reintroduced foods and beverages very, very carefully to see what my triggers or flare foods were. The most common, which myself is included in these being flare foods, are citrus, coffee, a lot of nightshades, citrus, coffee, chocolate, soy products, and I'm sure there's a couple of others that I'm blanking on the top of my head, but that's not the point. The point is there is only 2 types of treatment as we know it for interstitial cystitis. One is called Elmiron, and Elmiron actually causes macular degeneration if taken over a long course of time. And IC is a lifelong illness. So basically, one of the only choices is that. And then there is the over-the-counter product, Azo, and that in prolonged use. Now, it's fine if you're using it for a UTI, because usually that happens once in a while. You take it for a week, you're done. In IC, you're taking it all the time. And overuse of Azo is known to cause uterine cancer. So your options are go blind or get cancer. And that's just not good enough, because we have 8 million women in the United States alone who suffer in silence with IC, and about 2 million men. Okay? Cancer or blindness or chronic pain is just not good enough options. I myself am participating right now in a clinical trial, as well as other IC sisters and brothers, but it's a pun. But that's not enough. We need more research, we need more awareness, and we need less shame around this diagnosis, because it takes twice as much energy for someone living with this much pain to get out of bed every morning and just live their life, because they have to squish down the pain or have these little life hacks that we share in online support groups of just how to get through the day. Now, okay, so your bladder hurts, it hurts to pee. What's the big deal? The big deal is that when undiagnosed, which most clients or patients rather go undiagnosed for most of their lives until it's too painful to bear anymore, it means it's wearing down the lining of your bladder. Some women's bladders, because of late diagnosis, have gotten so worn down that they become porous and actually need to have them removed and use ostomy bags or catheterization permanently as their means of expelling liquid from their body. That's not okay. So what can you do to help? You can be really kind and understanding to everyone and anyone you know going through a chronic pain disease. You can be sensitive to others because you don't know what's going on in their health or in their life. And you can give money, because with money, we can get more research and more support. There is an exorbitantly high amount of women who live with interstitial cystitis that commit suicide every year, because for a lot of us, there is very little to no hope. And for a lot of them, there is almost no support system. Most women who are diagnosed with interstitial cystitis either end up divorced or have a lot of taxing issues on their marriages, because being part of your sexual organ, it does affect how often you'd want to have intercourse. And it's really hard sometimes for partners to understand a pain that they can never feel and can do absolutely nothing about. And yeah, there's little band-aids like Pre-Leaf where we can take a alkaline it's similar to baking soda type pill before ingesting something that may or may not have acid in it. But guess what? Go look in your cabinet, in your fridge, at any ingredients list right now that you may have. Anything that has the word acid in it, anything, with the exception of milk, because that's a base, anything with the word acid in it, I can't have or shouldn't have. And if I treat myself, because I'm Italian and I love red sauce on everything, I am knowingly harming my bladder for years to come, because I have no other options. It's either not eat at family events or just suffer a little pain and hope that future Caitlin's bladder hangs on and isn't one of the unlucky ones. So please, September is IC Awareness Month, and I thought it was important to share with you a video that you might actually watch, because last year I wrote a blurb, and TLDR, I get it, we're all very busy. So with lots of love and appreciation, if you made it this far in the video, please, please, please donate to the IC network. And I will have some links below of places you can also donate to help support research and awareness for interstitial cystitis. Thank you so much, and bye.